Back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Star Chronicles Dallas Cowboy Football Podcast. I'm Troy Hill. Also joining me this evening is Lisa Lee, the Starstruck fan, and Kyle. And we're back for the new season of professional football. We're all Dallas Cowboy football fans here. We are very, very excited for the season to come. But, we got to go through this preseason jazz, which is the most boring part of professional football. How are you, Lisa Lee? And what are your thoughts on professional or on preseason football?
Don't like it. Never have liked it. Don't like it. Do think it's. I think it serves a purpose. Let me be clear, but I just don't. It doesn't move the needle for me at all.
I think it serves a purpose for every other football team in the NFL except the Dallas Cowboys. Because it seems like other teams be doing practicing and real preparation type stuff, right? Because we're going to go through all this preseason jazz and hoobala, and come the first game of the season, it's going to definitely look like the Dallas Cowboys have not played 1 ounce of football forever for at least the first half. What's your thoughts on that, Starstruck?
Yeah, it's a little tough for me because I know they've got to cut it down to certain roster slot, and I know that's why they have to do this versus college football, who gets out there doesn't have a preseason. All they have is a same color and the same color type scrimmage against each other, and then they're ready to go. But they don't have a roster limitation, so I do understand they have to utilize that because they only can carry 53 plus players, and so they have to do that. But I'm not a fan of it. I like to see it be reduced even down more than the 3 that they have, to maybe 2. 1 would be great, but I guess 2, because you have the practices to kind of evaluate as well. I know you want to see people in game, but really, how much you're going to see in game? You're not having certain players out there every single time they're in certain scenarios. So, yeah, I'd like to see it reduced to maybe 2 games, but no, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do understand why.
See, it's odd that you say that because soon you said that, it's like I'm sitting there thinking in my mind about how even at a collegiate level that these teams seem to be more prepared that first game of the season than what the Dallas Cowboys are and stuff. And that even makes it even more sad for me. What's your thoughts on that, Kyle?
Regarding preseason or just
Just
lack of
preseason in
preparedness, or
general. I mean, they're going through
I mean,
the whole process of the practicing and stuff, but it just still seems like the Cowboys are still. I mean, what the hell are they really practicing?
I don't
They never
know.
seem like they're prepared and stuff when the season really starts, anyways.
I don't know. I kind of agree. Like it is 3 games. It probably is going to be reduced down to 2 because that way the owners can get that 18th game in there and extend the season. So, but I think you need game evaluation for some guys. Like I said, I don't need. I know what I don't need to see like Zach Martin out there. I've seen him, you know what I mean? But like, I want to see, I want to see a Cooper Beebe. I want to see like this guy Racing McMath. I've heard he's been had a big training camp, but he goes out there and drops 2 passes back to back in a live game situation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it's stuff like that. You want to see. Do guys know their assignments? You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like I said,
No, I
is Race
definitely do.
McMath going to make this team? Probably not. But you want to at least see what he does against an opposing team in like a real quote unquote real game situation. But I say I'm just all about don't get hurt. I don't want to see guys get hurt.
Absolutely.
I don't want to torn ACL. I don't need a busted up shoulder.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of cool with not. I don't need Zach Martin and DeMarcus Lawrence out there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
give me let me see the second round pick. Let me see the third round pick. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Guys who are going to be backups.
Or what we gave up, gave up a 4th round pick for, because we've been under the and again, this is the Star Chronicles Dallas Cowboy podcast. First show of the new season, preseason game. Cowboys lost to the Los Angeles Rams. Was it 13-12? The last year, we've heard all these amazing things about Trey Lance, how he's been doing in practice and how great he's been, and come to find out, which we already knew it was a lie to begin with. We all knew it was a lie, but here we are. When you talk about terms of evaluation stuff, again, Kyle, I'm with you 100%, but when you talk about like these key big time words and stuff, it just seems like these words just don't apply to the Dallas Cowboy organization. Because if they were properly evaluating players, they would know that Trey Lance is trash. What's your
Well, like,
thoughts? Go ahead.
yeah,
What's your thoughts?
well, that's what happens when the owner is the GM. Doesn't matter.
True.
It doesn't matter. He's the GM. He's not going to fire himself.
No,
So,
true. Um, um, Ron, what any kind of anything stick out to you in this preseason game, or give you any kind of sense of hope or promise?
Cooper Rush, I guess, as a backup. I mean, he's what we have right now. I mean, if Trey Lance is going to look the way he has, and of course it's preseason, week one, and we've thrown, but it just like we've talked about, most teams it takes about a couple of games, few games to figure things out. Us, we've been around this thing, being fans for quite a while. It doesn't take us long to kind of see, people like, well, you got to give it some time. It's just his first preseason game. I mean, Dak Prescott was a fourth round pick, came out there when Romo got hurt. He was throwing darts, running, looking great right off the top. Trey Lance, first round pick going into his third year. We can come up with
fourth.
other kind of excuses performance wise, but it is what it is. But yeah, I say, Cooper Rush, the defense, I was kind of leaning towards them saying, okay, we're doing something here. And then of course, the last 3-4 minutes or so, we started looking like the same old defense, poor penalties, opportunities to not close out the game type of thing. But if I could put my hat on something solid, I would say Cooper Rush, followed by Rico Dowdle did his thing, but it's preseason week one, but he would be probably my number two.
Jesus. So at least after hearing those things, what's your level of excitement right now going into the new season? We got a great backup quarterback, y'all, and
Well, and we have a running back that like only we know his name. I mean, like it's it's the needle. I told y'all this before.
Mhm.
Something happened on January the 14th to me. They broke my entire will to be excited about anything until mid to late January. Like it just, I've never felt this way. I've been a fan my entire life. I'm 51. Like that's a long freaking time to be, just in love with a team and be passionate about it, to then feel this, they talked about it a little bit in the press conference at training camp about indifference. And that's kind of where I'm at across the board. Like if Trey Lance had gone out there and looked like an all pro, I wouldn't care. If, it literally, the needle does not move for me right now. And that is so foreign to me because
mhm.
by this time, normally I'm getting ramped up. I'm excited. Who do we have week one? It's weird. It's a weird place for me to be. And I either go from indifferent to I want to set a building on fire angry. Like there's really it doesn't ever move to the good side of the knee, like
Yeah, and I
I,
think and I think there's a lot of Cowboy fans in that boat. I mean, I can admit that I feel like a little empty when it comes. I mean, of course, I love the Cowboys, but I just feel like it's like a Lifetime movie network channel. It's like a Lifetime movie for me right now. I feel like I've just been that woman has been just like the burning bed. Like I've just been abused and shit. That's how I feel. It's like yes, I love you, but I mean, I just feel like you're on eggshells, with the thing, and that's just the way I feel. So I get it. I mean, how do you feel, Kyle? Do you feel the same way? I mean, you have a level of excitement, or are you still kind of stuck on that January 14th jazz? Because that was a rude awakening.
I mean, they blew a golden opportunity, but at the same time, it's like, how do I put this? I kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to be stuck in the past. You know what I mean? Like, I got to, I get they made mistakes, and I don't feel like they really addressed any of them. I mean, not really. I mean, the problem is, I think a lot of the fans, and this is my opinion, are starting to feel like Lisa, okay?
Mhm.
And Jerry and Steven, they still think, oh, well, like I said, they love to point out that they sold the most tickets the fastest. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
they are so tone deaf to the pulse of their own fans because they're so used to their fans coming back every year, like clockwork, fans coming back. And I think, based on comments I've seen and podcasts, and radio, the 105.3, that fans are not that way anymore. They're more lines of Lisa and Jerry. He is playing this persona where he likes to jab at the audience. How many times he has doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on all in? Every time a mic's in front of his face, he says all in.
Yeah,
Fans are sick of hearing all in.
and it's like a
Uh,
joke to him too. It's like
it's a
funny to
joke
him.
to him, exactly. Okay, because he thinks fans. He doesn't have a pulse of the fans. He wants to talk about urgency. He has no urgency. Like he can come back and apologize and sidestep what he meant to say, but fans, Lisa doesn't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Star Trek doesn't want to hear it. You don't hear it. We don't want to hear that there's no urgency to sign CeeDee Lamb because we all know that CeeDee Lamb, this team is not going to be that great of a team. You know what I mean? It's not, or it's not going to be what it could be. And I feel like
I don't
we
know
all
with
think
them. I don't know with them if we're gonna still be that
yeah.
great with them.
And the problem is I get why Lisa's down because I saw the Eagles go and make moves. I saw
Yeah,
the
Right.
Eagles. They opened their checkbook and they got Saquon and they got this guy and they extended their offensive line. They extended a running back and they extended two wide receivers. And Jerry Jones hasn't done anything except sign a 31-year-old middle linebacker. You know what I mean? Like for veteran minimum. You know what I mean? And sign busted up. Let's be real here. Broken down. Zeke Elliott for veteran minimum. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't move the needle for me. It just doesn't. And a lot of fans, I believe, feel the same exact way. You know what I mean? And I think Jerry and Steven are so tone deaf to it. And I think fans are finally
yeah,
fed up with their shit.
yeah. It's no. They back up the stagecoach or whatever. Like step right up, heary,
Yep.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's a more miracle salve to sell you. And it's like everybody. I mean, I don't like the relationship with the people have what they have with the press. I don't like any of it. They all
Mm-hmm.
sit there cracking jokes back and forth. Ha ha ha! I can't remember the
Yeah.
guy's name, Clarence Terry, whatever. I mean,
Yeah. Terrence Hill. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
stop the
Idiot.
nonsense. I mean, can't
Mm-hmm.
you just be serious for 1 second? But again, how they're worth what, $10 billion and stuff? I
Something
mean,
like that.
I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
And Troy, I
I
got something too when when
sure.
you get a moment too.
No, sure. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I actually did make it out to the training camp. I was there on last week.
Yeah, how
Spent
was it?
some time there, and I want to tell you, for one, it was. I guess at the time I went, I wanted to go during this time because I thought it was going. I had never seen a joint practice, so I thought it was good. I usually like to go for the military appreciation, being a military veteran, to
Mhm.
be around all the military comrades. But they actually did that a little bit earlier this year, and I was
Hmm.
not able to get out there in July. Wasn't able to get there till August. And so I said, okay, next best thing is to be able to check out the joint practice with the Rams. So got out there and saw that. And one thing I noticed, for one, I know up until last week there had been lots of talks about the fan participation had been down. So I was interested to see what that was going to look like when I got out there. Well, I got out there, the stadium was full.
Of
But the
course it
reason
was.
why is because you had Rams fans there also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it kind of gave you the, it made it seem like, okay, they're full support. But then as I looked around, I'm like, well, heck, there's just as many Rams fans here
Mm.
as there are Cowboys. There wasn't like there was an overwhelming Cowboys takeover type thing going. I felt it was about even. If the Rams did
Wow.
Yeah.
have probably more.
Mm.
And another thing that I noticed from an observation standpoint is we didn't have what we typically, or what I've seen in the past, where you've got that one guy that's kind of taking over the camp and kind of winning the fans over, whether it's like Lucky doing his thing. Zeke, everybody's Zeke, I need your autograph. Dak. CD wasn't there. Dak was out there, but it wasn't like a bunch of fans like going crazy, like screaming Dak. It wasn't that whole like it was in 2016 and the early years of Dak. I didn't see where people were really cheering and trying to draw players. As a matter of fact, they just kept switching up. They were like, whoever comes close to the fence, hey, come here and get an autograph type of thing, no matter whether the
Mm.
guy was popular or not. So it's like the fan base is struggling because they don't know who to pull for, and I guess you should support the whole team, right? But in
Yes.
the past, we know how it has been. It has been everybody's for Dak or a lot of people are for Zeke, but there wasn't that true guy that stuck out or where the fans were really like there to see him. Without CD being there, it was really noticeable.
Well, I mean, maybe these are the necessary steps of the thing. I mean, will this
Sure.
type of thing continue
Possible.
going on into the regular season? I highly doubt it will. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I'm sure. Even though I kind of like the ideas, like, well, you guys know my thoughts about the Dallas Cowboy fan base in general. I do think it's probably like a little heavy by like 75%. We need to at least lose probably like about 75% because one is people talking Cowboy football that don't know football, just basically wearing colors. Two, obviously, if you think Dak is the issue and he's the only issue, obviously you don't watch football. There's 10 billion other things wrong with this team besides Dak,
Yeah. Yeah.
if he is even a problem. Um, uh, what's your thoughts on that, Lisa Lee? Is that I mean, how do you feel now? Do you feel that you're like part of this group now of people kind of reluctant to be at the Cowboys, or you just think this is kind of like a stationary type of occurrence right now at the moment, but things will end up picking up once the season is up coming around?
No, I mean, I feel like there is some. I feel like the narrative about the indifference in the fan base, I think that's real. I think it does have legs, but it will be interesting to see. Like, I think somebody in this group chat mentioned that, okay, yeah, so they sold out their season tickets faster, whatever Jerry and Steven were saying. Like, that's a statistic. Like, to me, that's garbage time of the front office. Like, I don't care that,
Mm-hmm.
like what does that do? Nothing. That's not going to get you. You don't get an extra playoff game because you did that the fastest. You don't get
Mm-hmm.
you
First
don't get
round
a free
bye.
win. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't get a bonus win because you did
Yeah.
it the fastest. Like, it's garbage time statistics.
Yeah.
But like me, I'm a prime example. Like, I've gone to games, at least one, for the last several years, and spent a lot of money on tickets. Like, I went to the playoff game, spent a lot of money on those tickets. And I said, when I left that game, walking through Antarctica to get back to the truck, I said, the next Cowboys ticket I purchase, the only next Cowboys ticket that I will purchase will be to an NFC championship game. That's probably never going to happen. So I'm never going to have to buy another Cowboys ticket as long as I live.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Like, I have people
Wow.
coming into town, like Houston. Y'all know some of my best friends live in Houston. We're playing them in the regular season. Normally, that's an every 4-year thing. It's an every 8-year thing to be back in Dallas. It's
Mm-hmm.
back in Dallas this year.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's coming up. Are you going to the game? Nope. Sure not. And they're like, you have to be sitting next to us. Let me tell you something. The only way I'm sitting next to you is if you buy my ticket. Because I tell you who's not putting any money towards the Dallas Cowboy ticket, and that's Lisa Lee.
Mm-hmm. No,
My
I
friends from New
understand that.
Orleans,
I give
same
you credit for
question.
sticking to your guns.
I totally understand that. And let's take a step back real quick as the people listening. And once again, we like to thank each and every one of you for listening into our podcast. We're diehard Cowboy fans here. We're totaling what, like over 100, like what, close to like 170 years of Cowboys fandom total amongst
Ooh.
us. So, I mean, we're diehard fans. So, um, what you're going to get out of this program is not a bunch of candy coated nonsense. We love our team, but we're going to call the team out for the nonsense and the things that don't work and the things that are wrong. So, I mean, if you don't like that, this might not be your program, but if you are a person that kind of just like listens and just tries to enjoy kind of just hearing just like, these might be some of the things that you might complain about and stuff. So, this is kind of like the forum, just to kind of shoot. If you have any type of questions, don't hesitate to ask and stuff. We would definitely entertain your question on one of our shows. But I don't know. To me, I'm just not. I mean, the next preseason game here is what is it, Saturday? I can tell you guys right now, I'm not watching the game. I'll have to watch it on a replay. I will be at the Toyota Pavilion watching the Roots with my sons or whatever. So
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, so I definitely don't give a ticker's damn about the Dallas Cowboys next Saturday night. Even though my oldest, is a Raiders fan, and we probably should be watching this game together, but we're not. So that's fine. Yeah, but we're gonna be enjoying some music and stuff. But
thanks.
That's
anything
awesome.
what do you guys? I mean, it's still too early for us to do the schedule. That's usually
Oh,
close to the beginning of the season.
yeah.
I
Um,
know what my pick is already. I can tell you right now.
Well, we're going to make it to the play. We're going to stumble our way into the
No,
playoffs.
it'll be a struggle for us to make it to the playoffs. It's just like Kyle said. Like I think that's the issue. It's the combination of what happened on January 14th plus every other thing that did not happen from March 1st until now. And it's just like Kyle said. There were the Eagles opened up their checkbook. They made moves. Washington got better. The Giants maybe got better. That's ish. They got what's his name? From the Panthers. He's a really
Brian
good
Burns. Brian Burns.
Brian Burns. He's fantastic. Like they made some moves. Like the thing this is the frustration from a nuts and bolts like X's and O standpoint. I watched Hard Knocks for the Giants. I can't stand the Giants, but I watched it just partly because I wanted to make fun of them. Well, turns out it just made me feel worse about our front office. And for me to feel worse about this front office is basically like the bottom of the barrel, like, because I already feel pretty crappy about it. So they addressed their needs. They made a list. The Giants, their GM, who's PS, not the owner, he made a list. Here's our off-season needs. Here's what we need. We need some offensive linemen. We need an edge rusher. We need this. Okay, what can we do to make all of this work? And I'll be damned, a lot of it was hinging on the Saquon decision. I get that, but they decided not to overpay on Saquon. They didn't match what Philly offered him. They drew a line in the sand that they were not going to pay over that. They addressed every single one of the other needs that they had. And I'm like, this guy, this GM, people make fun of him. Not like they do Jerry, but like he hasn't had the best reputation in the league. But I'm like, you had needs, you addressed every single one of them. And then when you get to the draft, you can just go get what best player available.
And they did. Right receiver, Neighbors, yeah. From
LSU, who it upsets me when an LSU player goes to the NFC East. It happened all over the board this year. So, that's my issue. It compounds itself with the ineptitude, if that's even a word, of the front office. And then you look at it comparatively around the league. Houston's exactly the same way.
If it is a word, Jerry's going to hear it and use it 15 times in his next press conference.
Oh, God, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, ambiguity, that was the word of the day.
Ambiguity.
But it's like you see all these other teams they lay out a blueprint. As much as I hate Philly, Howie Roseman is kicking Jerry's ass in the GM department for the last 5 to 7.
Yeah, you're right.
More than that, I would say.
Jerry's not looking at it that way. Jerry's looking at that jersey he has on, has a number 10 with billion at the last name on the back. That's what he's thinking about.
And okay, that's fair because it's your baby, but like then you can't want to get feisty when the reporters ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
Just say that then. Yeah. I'm a money grubbing hoe, and that's all I care about.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like I feel like all 4 of us are pretty educated fans. I said that thing on our group chat about the salary cap. Like, he's banking on the fact that Joe Schmo and Flower Mound doesn't know that they have, the 5th most salary cap next year and the most in 2026. You know what I mean? Because all he does all off season is, we're going to pay our price, or we're going to pay our price. We have a budget, we have credit cards, and we're up here to pay Paul. Blah. Like, it's bullshit. They're full of shit. Like, they are so full of shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're full of it. Like, after this year, like I said, who are they paying next year? Zach Martin will probably off the books. We talked about this. Lawrence will probably off the books. You know what I mean? Like, who are they really paying? Like I said, they have the cap space, and they're claiming they don't, but the numbers say they do, and the numbers don't lie. Let's be real. The numbers don't lie.
I think the intention
is most in the league next year, and the most in 2026. They're full skit.
I think the intention is just to blow the whole damn thing up eventually. I mean, to me, this is going to be a whole different looking Cowboys and stuff this time next season.
That's what I say, because they said they've offered contracts to both of those guys. Like, clearly they got no concern about paying Micah this year. They're not. That's not even on the radar. It looks like, even though it should be. Get them done early. But they said that they've got contract offers out to both, or they got rejected both times or whatever, to Dak and CD. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like this team is just directionless. Like I feel like Lisa said, The Giants have a goddamn plan. The Bears have a plan. You know what I mean? What's Dallas' plan?
Yeah.
It's just to lie and make jokes and make fun of the fans, not all in. You know, it just I
I don't know. I just think the whole thing is just I mean, you start off the season, I mean, because they hit the panic button after we got murdered by the Packers. It was all in, it's all in, we're going to do whatever. And obviously that was a lie. They joke about it to the point where it becomes irritating.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't call any damn buddy. They know there's like a need. You know what? I mean, what's the running back's name?
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
No phone call.
not even a phone call. Mm-hmm.
Lives
Not
14
even,
minutes. He
not even
lives
a
14 minutes from Frisco.
yep, not even a damn telegram. I
We
mean,
got Miles Sanders hanging out there.
yeah.
He's on a roster. What are you gonna do? Trade picks for him? I mean, Jesus, he's on a roster.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
think, and it's so bad. And it's like, you used to be able to just lay back, sit back and just wait because free agents wanted to be here. Nobody wants to come here now because they see how you're
No.
treating. Like, if you're going to treat Dak this way, they kind of sort of did Tony the same way. Not really, because then Tony's injury kind of took him out of the mix before he got that second deal. But honestly, if I'm Dak Prescott right now, Dak is, when I say holding every card, he's got all 52 of them in his hand.
yeah.
No, he is, because
And he was like, he's looking at Jerry and Steven like, I dare you to try to make a move. Like, and after the Trey Lance exhibition the other night, and I will say, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit with Trey Lance. Like, this kid came in, fair or not fair, he was drafted way too high. It's clear to see that, but he never really had a fair shot either. I get it. I watch a lot of freaking football. I get it. That's the nature of the league. But I feel like if he could just get some consistent, because think about it, he's going to play in these 2 or 3 whatever preseason games. He may play a total of 7 quarters, let's call it. That's not enough to really get your sea legs about you and really just find your way through it. I mean, hell, in Dak's second year, he struggled. Like, once people had a blueprint on him, like, he's never really had that shot to just, I'm not saying he's the answer, by all means, I'm not. But, like,
I gotta disagree. He had Shanahan as a coach for 2 years. He had Ayuk.
but he
had
never
Kittle.
played.
He had okay. He lost the competition to Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold.
Fair. I get what you're saying, but
he's a 4-year veteran. If it's not gonna happen by now, what's gonna happen? Maybe.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Maybe his career is just a backup. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he is just a second or third string backup. Look at Zach Wilson. He was drafted top 5 too. Maybe he's just a backup.
And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is with Trey Lance is there's nothing wrong with him being a backup. I just don't even know if he's even good enough to be a backup well, I don't think he's good enough to be a backup right now, but I mean, it's obvious that he doesn't have the resume of the competition. I mean, he doesn't have the reps. There's a lot of things that this guy is missing. And
his throws were
Mike
all
McCarthy
over the place last night.
For Stephen Jones, and for all of them to sit there and say the progress that this guy's been making last year, they constantly made that a point to mention his damn name. They both need to be punched straight in the damn face for saying that damn.
But it's not that they were wrong. I mean, they were wrong clearly, but they weren't saying it to. They were saying it because they knew this contract of Dak was coming up.
Well, no, I think they were saying that just to cause more shit with Dak.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you said. Yes.
I think Dak has no reason to even worry about Trey Lance right now. I mean, let's be he's taking third string reps at training camp. Let's be third string. You know what I mean? Like, on the depth chart right now, if it were a legit depth chart, he would be the third string quarterback. You know what I mean? Trey Lance not taking this guy's job. Like, he did not look good up there. He's not accurate. He was averaging 4.7 yards per pass attempt. 4.7. You know, those guys had no one going to catch because every receiver had to jump for a ball or was 5 yards out of bounds. He can't throw. He just can't. He's the kind of guy, like, if it's in the fourth quarter and Dak, he jams a finger and we got a 10-point lead, Trey Lance can finish a game. I don't need him starting 17 games for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need him.
You think he can finish? Wait, I don't know if he can finish a game. What's your thoughts on that, Ron?
Yeah, I was just saying. I was just thinking about Ben DiNucci.
Huh?
Oh,
Ben DiNucci. We used to go with Ben DiNucci. He was the cleanup guy. When you didn't want to put your second string in there, game was out of hand. But I just don't know what to. It's, I said it's preseason week one. We'll see how this goes. We were all throwing darts at Will Greer at this point too, and all of a sudden, of course, in the final preseason game, well, of course, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of people out there in the field that you were going to remember their name the
Yeah.
following week. But Will Greer plays the game of his life,
Okay.
and since
So
then he hasn't done it.
yeah,
He's still on the
he's like
bench with
selling
us.
like Dean Martin steaks out of the back of his trunk or whatever. He ain't doing nothing.
I mean, he's still in the league, but he hasn't gotten a starting job. He hasn't earned a
Hey,
starting
you
job.
want some high quality restaurant quality steaks? Go to my back of my trunk. Sorry, it's not very cool.
but like back to what Kyle was saying about this salary cap thing, I hadn't realized that they were going to have the fifth most next year and the
Yeah, they
most
said
in
that.
2026. Like that infuriates me even more
Mm-hmm.
because what are you waiting on then? You're infamous for backloading contracts.
Yes.
Backload the shit out of these three deals and get it done
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because you're not gonna. There's so much gonna fall off anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it here.
Lisa, look, I've seen the math. If they had just extended either Dak or CD, they would have freed up cap space this offseason.
Oh, I know.
They could have afforded a Derrick Henry
It
instead of
would have.
cheaping out and bringing back Zeke Elliott. They could have
They
done
could
that.
have
It
afforded
took one
like
fucking thing, made one
yeah.
move.
They could
Yeah.
have afforded like 5 Derrick Henrys because
Exactly.
Yeah,
it would have freed up like
they could have
$40 million.
afforded
dollars.
Saquon and
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry if they
Yeah.
wanted to.
And they're such a bad front offense that even if Dak leaves next year, he's on the books for $40 million.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they readjusted his contract like twice already in his career. So
Wow.
even if he's not on the roster, he's going to count $40 million next year.
Yep.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
unbelievable. The way that other teams just like the Rams, we made fun of the Rams, like F those draft picks, whatever. Like they have manipulated teams manipulate the salary cap all the time. Yeah, it's Jerry and Steven were preaching that that's a hard number. Yeah, facts. It's a hard number, but I've read the book about it. And there's lots of ways to, especially like if if you're like this CD and Dak and Micah deals or whatever, you give them a, ass pot
Signing
and
bonus.
yeah, signing
Yeah.
bonus, you can amortize that over
Yeah.
the length of the deal. Well,
Yeah.
if you're extending CD for 4 to 5 years, that's 5 years on top of the one he has left. So you can amortize $40 million over 6 years. Like there's lots of
Mm-hmm.
ways to amortize it out to make the numbers work without then penalizing yourself 5 years down the road. Like you didn't give a shit about this salary cap situation 5 years ago, which is what has put you in the predicament you're in now. However,
Yeah.
had you done the extensions, you wouldn't have any problems at all.
You know what's crazy too is, did you hear Stephen Jones a few weeks ago? I think it was 105.3. He's like, once again, he tries to do this thing. Well, would you rather have three average guys, or one all-star? Because he's like, well, it's not a guy like a CD, then you don't have a Baez and an Armstrong. Like, I don't give a fucking shit about Tyler
Oh, yeah.
Biadasz. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about a rotational defensive end
and
who's
the
going to
best
take 30 snaps a game. I
and
would
the
rather
best
have my starting quarterback. My God, I'd rather have the best wide receiver in the league than Tyler Biadasz. I
and
don't
the, and the best
care.
and the best of thing is we still didn't get him. So it doesn't even matter.
Exactly. Exactly. They make it sound like, oh, I gotta have three average Joes than one All Star. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm done with the average Joes. Give it to the All Stars, because look at them. Our team's game plan against them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no one's game plan against Lawrence Armstrong. I'm sorry. Or be honest, you
I
know.
tell you guys right now, hot sports opinion. I still don't think Micah Parsons is going to be a Dallas Cowboy in the future. I don't.
Honestly, if I was him at this point, the way they've treated the other players, I'd be like, you
I
got this.
know.
I'm
Yeah,
out.
but the difference is he runs his mouth a little too. I still don't personally like this guy. He runs his mouth a little too damn much, and then his damn brother. Shut the f up with that damn stuff. You know what I'm saying, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When he said that shit like 15,000 damn times. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
You should know the difference between. I understand it's your brother. I understand you guys are supposed to be, one. You're supposed to be. I got it back, but there's some things, especially when you're talking multi-million-dollar contract, that
Mm-hmm.
you need to just shut the f up and let your brother handle it, instead of the one that's actually getting paid.
Yeah.
Not you on Don Rickles' podcast or wherever the f it was. I mean, it's
Yeah.
stupid. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Ron? Do you think? I don't think Mike is going to be back anyways. I really don't.
I am not sure. I don't even want to think about him right now as far as because we got too many guys still in the forefront like Dak and see. I don't even want to entertain Mike where we stand with him right now. We need to get CD in here so he can link up with Dak, get these
Mhm.
guys ready. Because I know we haven't touched much on the preseason game, but I did want to throw in there the defense. I did feel some type of way in how it ended, but I still got to give a little bit of credit from what I did get to see. What Zimmer did do out of defense with Al Harris. It looks like he's got this secondary picking passes off again. So if this defense can hold things together and we get Dak, who's not hopefully not going to have an offense that's going to put up 4 field goals, we may have a chance at competing in the NFC East and
So
getting into the playoffs
Oh,
again. But
to me,
we don't know.
oh,
yeah,
We don't
oh,
know.
bless its heart.
yep, that's what I'm
Oh,
sitting
We're in
there
the
thinking
NFC
too.
East,
I'm
so
like, man,
I'm
bless your
willing.
heart, Ron, because I think the 4 interceptions is fool's gold. Personally, I mean, is it anything different than what they did defensively in the regular season last year? I mean, to
But it got
basically
us
do this, to
wins.
basically do the same damn thing, give up at the end and lose. So
Yeah.
what's the difference right now?
We would have to have an offense that doesn't turn the ball over. If the defense gets the ball to you, the offense has got to produce. We can't be. I love the fact that we've got a kicker right now, but we've got to put points into the end zone, in the red zone. We have got to score. Whether that's Rico Dowell, whether that's Ezekiel Elliott, whether that's Jake Ferguson catching a pass, CeeDee Lamb, if he's here by week 1, which I believe he will be, then we've got to find a way to get in the end zone in the red zone because that's been a crutch for us as well.
Okay, so with play calling, something we've seen so far, just the last year, body of work, even the last 2 seasons, we've had 2 different offensive coordinators. Um, have you seen anything that will make you think that anything's going to change as far as our red zone offense goes this year? At the moment, I mean, to me, it seems like it's like the same crap.
I think
So,
our line might be better at running the ball.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
line, I think it
yeah,
might be better at running the ball this year.
yeah,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
yeah.
I think short yardage, they might be better. The line might be better equipped to be a run blocking, grind out line.
Because I
okay,
That's
think
just
what's
me.
going to help,
fair.
talking with Kyle, I think what's going to help is I don't like the running back by committee approach, but I
Yeah.
like the fact that you don't know who you should zone in on because I don't see no defense stacking the box like they did against Zeke the first time around or his early
No,
years. I
definitely
don't see
not.
defense.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to help because you're going to get Rico Dowdle in situations where they're not going to key on him because they don't know what he's really capable of.
Yeah.
And other guys are going to be able to sneak in there 4 yards a carry type of stuff. And that's what we need. We just need something to get us closer to that first down marker.
Hell,
And don't hold. Don't hold.
does Zeke even make this team by the time regular season starts?
As of right now, he has to make this team because if you only got Rico Dowdle, who else is going to be in the backfield?
Nope. Well, I mean, well, they
Malik
put
Davis
themselves they
is
they put
Davis,
two
themselves
Hunter
yards a
Lucky.
they
carry.
put themselves in that position. You could have signed Tony Pollard and had Derrick Henry. I
Yeah.
mean, you could
So yeah, yeah. Zeke's
at
going
the
to
least
make
you
it
could
by
have
default.
you could have had
Zeke will
Pollard.
make it by default because if Rico keeps doing
What's the
what he's
problem?
doing, what's that?
That, that's the problem though. Like Zeke making the roster by default. What does that say though? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I heard someone on the radio say if you take away the last name and you saw that a 30-year-old running back number 15, they go, well, he didn't make the roster. And one guy on the radio was like, probably not. You know what I mean? Like, just
And this is not a knock on Zeke.
taking
I love Zeke,
everything.
but you're
Yeah.
100% correct, Kyle. I love
Hmm.
Zeke, but you're 100% correct.
Like,
I have
I feel like
absolutely
it's
zero
fan
excitement
service
for
having him on the
Zeke.
roster. It's just fan service, Like, oh,
Yeah.
Zeke's back. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, I believe it's fan service. I mean, I'm looking at my Zeke Elliott jersey hanging right now. Like,
Like,
Yeah.
get rid of one more thing.
why was he, why was he not playing on Sunday? Because if he's only supposed to quote unquote get 6 to 8 snaps, that doesn't make him the starter. That makes Rico Dowdle the starter, right? So then
No.
why is he not out there? Why is it Dowdle on the sidelines resting? You
I
know what I
said it
mean?
kind of quietly, but no. Rico Dowdle is not the starter as of right now. He looked great. He had 4 yards to carry against preseason week 1 defense that doesn't feature Aaron Donald anymore. I give him credit on that. But as of right now, Zeke's not playing because Zeke's the star. The same reason why Dak's
Oh,
not
and
playing right now.
then that's a sad that right there. It's sad in itself
That
that
is
Zeke's our
yeah.
starter.
Yeah.
That's
I
sad.
mean, it's sad,
That's some
but that is
sad
what it is.
stuff.
We know if you're not playing right now, that means you've got a spot on this team, basically.
Did you
But
guys
that's the
find it?
thing.
Did
They
you guys
lied
find
to
it
us. They
weird
told me he
today?
was going to 6 to 8 snaps a game, 6 to 8 carries. That's not starter carries. That's what they sold us, right? Because they think the fan base is dumb. You know what I mean?
It might not be starter carries, but he's going to be on this roster. That's roster carries.
Jeez.
He'll be ahead of. They'll be hard to put 3 running backs ahead of him on the roster. I know that
It
much
wouldn't be that
right
hard
now.
for me at
I don't
all.
think it's that hard. No, honestly, I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah,
As of
Uh,
week
I
one,
don't think it's that hard.
preseason week 1, we still got 2 more games to go. As of preseason week 1, Zeke is still in the top 2. As of
Jesus.
preseason week 1, we still got 2 more games to go.
yeah.
The only place Zeke is going to rush for over 1,000 yards and stuff this year is my Madden season because I will will it I will will that shit to happen.
I don't know, but you don't need that. You really
I
don't need
might yeah
that.
like
We just got spoiled with
he
that,
might
but we
bust
really don't
2,000
need that.
yards and stuff in my Madden season, but
We really don't need 1,000 yards. We've just gotten spoiled with that, but we really don't need that kind of production. Alvin Kamara, I think, has been in the league as long as he's been. I don't think he's ever had 1,000 yards rushing, but he's still one of the top running backs in the league. You just need a running game, period.
to open up this thing, we gotta have that running game. I mean, I want this thing to be like 55-45 at least, between the running and the passing. We need that balance.
Yeah, I mean, if he
And
gives
if
you
you're not
400,
gonna
go
have
ahead.
that running, if you're not gonna have that running game,
Yeah,
you gotta pay CD and get him in here. Like it. This is where the frustration comes in. If you're not gonna load up your running back room, then go ahead and open up your checkbook and get your
yeah,
number one receiver in here.
yeah.
And
So
and be and be creative as
take the
shit with
pressure
that. Be
away off
creative
that
as shit
line.
with that play calling.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah,
be even more creative with CeeDee Lamb.
yeah. Make
I
those
mean,
safeties stay out of the box. But you
You know
got
what's
Exactly.
crazy?
CD. Yeah,
I was just thinking the other day, if this team had made one signing, if they had just signed Derrick Henry, and let's say there's no CD drama, I would feel pretty confident about this offense between Derrick
I would be
Henry,
optimistic. I'm
CD
not gonna
Lamb,
lie.
Brandon Cooks, Jake Ferguson. That's a pretty stacked offense. But
yeah.
now look at like Dowdle, Zeke, you know what I mean? Like now we got CD drama. Like what this could go sideways
I
fast, man.
I'm telling you, I will be sound as a pound. Derrick Henry and then possibly a Pollard in the mix.
Yeah, what,
Resign
$8
CD.
million a year for Derrick
You
Henry? That's
know,
not bad either.
my outlook on this season would be way different right now at the moment. I would kind of be like, okay, we could do some things.
Exactly. I'd probably
Yeah,
give a ticker's damn if they had made
exactly.
any kind of
Yes.
just
It's like,
anything that remotely looks like a signing. Like not
Yes.
Eric Kendrick. Eric Kendrick, you're probably a fine human being.
yeah,
You don't move the needle for me.
yeah.
No.
Like make it
That's what
something impactful.
exactly. This is barroom talk, but like, I think you just done that one simple move. I'd be like, man, this offense is gonna be hard to stop because like the starter was saying, you want Derrick Henry there, you put an extra guy in the box. You know what I mean? That's gonna
Yep,
create some mixed matches over the top.
exactly.
It's gonna open things up for Ferguson, who was a
Ferguson.
reliable
Yep.
tight end last
Yep.
year.
Exactly.
But man, it's like now it's like,
Brandon
man, they
Cooks.
just
Yep.
done
One
one
on
and
one.
one. Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is like that those couple key components right there, and just more creative play calling. Because I'm
Mm.
still reluctant to believe that they're gonna. I just still see them not figuring it out on the play calling side.
Well,
I mean,
I did hear some crazy things that they've been having Turpin in the backfield a lot, and
I'm fine with that.
what's his face, Hunter Lipke. They said at least in training camp he's played a pretty prominent role back there in the backfield. So I mean,
I'm telling if you
do
give the ball correct to a guy like Turpin or even the other
exactly.
guy, if you could
And
do
don't
that in space, nobody's gonna see this guy.
Yeah.
And
and
by the
don't
time
be
you
a
see him, it's
don't
gonna be too damn late.
and
You
don't make it
know.
obvious with a jet sweep like Lucky Whitehead. That was the most obvious play ever. Oh, here comes the jet sweep with Lucky. Like mix it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
And I don't want to see one damn bubble screen at all.
like the bubble screen. If
That
you
works
get it
for
in the hands of the right
other
guy,
teams. It
don't
don't work
be
for
don't
us.
be throwing the ball in the hand of your tight end on a bubble screen. That's
Yeah, I
what messes
agree.
us up. Don't be
Well, no,
throwing
with
it to
Ferguson
Cedric
though.
Wilson when we had Cedric Wilson. Don't be throwing a bubble screen to Cedric Wilson. Get it in the hand of somebody that can make
Playmaker.
some
Yeah.
moves and
Mm-hmm.
flash with the ball.
It would be so silly throwing Jake Ferguson a bubble screen. I would kind of like to see it just to see what happens because he's no slouch.
He probably get a first down, but he's not
He,
gonna house it.
Yeah.
no, he's not going to house it, but
Yeah, he'd probably pick up a first down. It'd be a good play for like 2nd and 5 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
I've been kind of curious just to see that because that dude he has out of all the players on the teams, I used to think Dak had like this umph to him,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think Dak is kind of just like. I mean, I'm sure he loves still being a Cowboy and stuff, but damn, I mean, all the stuff this man's gone through, it has to weigh on you a little thin and stuff after a while. It's like, Jesus, this is like these people just won't shut the F up. I got these guys 5'2", 375 pounds sitting in a recliner telling me I can't throw a football and trying to sit there and try and say, oh, this is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other quarterback in the league either that has to deal. Now, I know the word I'm about to say next is not a word, but it's effective. The asininity that comes with
The asininity.
the GM / owner.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other quarterback in the league that has to wait to do his post game presser to go
Mm-hmm.
after the owner GM. There's
Yeah.
no other quarterback in the league that has to answer questions about something the GM said. There's no other quarterback in the league that has to deal with all the ancillary things that Dak Prescott has to deal with, which if you think about the other 31 starters in the league, with maybe the exception of, Patrick Mahomes, but even at that, I don't know that even he could handle the circus that is the Joneses. Like, is there another quarterback in the league that you feel like is mentally strong enough to handle the BS that comes with the Joneses better than Dak Prescott?
Probably
That's
not.
tough.
Probably Aaron
Guys,
Rodgers.
like I'm just listening.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is a nutcase, though. He's a nutcase himself.
right.
Yeah.
That's why I think he'd handle it well.
It's like
Or he'd just be
Maybe.
like, I want
Is
out.
Jerry on the same level of looniness?
it's like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there listening to Lisa talk about the Joneses. It's like, it just makes me more and more mad about them. It just
Welcome
seems
to the angry boat.
Mm-hmm.
like they're like the Judd Clamp. They're like the Clampets of professional football. It's like I just look at them like it's like they don't wash their hands when they go to the restroom. It's like that type of. It's something about them. It's just stuff I just
They
don't
put
like.
salt on breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
it's just something about them. It's the least professional organization in the world. It has to be.
Oh
Yeah.
man, speaking of the Joneses, did you hear Jerry reiterate? I mean, he says this every year about there's not a check that he wouldn't write that would guarantee him a Super Bowl. Like,
Yep.
stop saying that. Stop it. We don't want to hear it. Well, A, because it can't be done. Two, because your inactiveness in free agency the past 3 or 4 years has shown us you will not write any check to get it done. You don't. There is a price you would pay. I'm so sick of hearing about. They're about to write a check. I would. Like basically saying he'd buy a Super Bowl. Like, stop it.
And I
You
just
wouldn't. You're full of shit.
one Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Just get one free agent that moves the needle. And maybe
Exactly.
I could believe that. But you can write a quote unquote check without writing. I mean, you could do it. There's so many ways that he could have done it. Like, we've all looked at the numbers. We all know what Derrick Henry ended up signing for with Baltimore. I guarantee you, had Jerry not quote unquote waited for the leaves to fall, he could have
Mm-hmm.
I think he could have probably gotten, Derrick Henry ended up signing in Baltimore for like $8 million a year. I guarantee you, because Derrick Henry already lives here in Dallas, in the Dallas area, you could have probably gotten him for six and a
Tax
half or
free.
7. Had you
Tax
been,
free. Mm-hmm.
had you been up front and just had you been the leader in the clubhouse. Same
Mm-hmm.
way with CD. You could have probably gotten CD for probably 30, but now you're going to be pushing 32 because you
35,
waited.
closer to 33, 34. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And so
Just go
all
ahead and
these
round it up to
things,
35.
yeah.
And it's so crazy because, like, all these fans, well, Dak should take less so they could build a team around him. Based on what? They don't
Right.
spend. He was on a rookie contract for 4 years. They wasted it. They wasted
Right.
not paying a quarterback. So now we want Dak to take less and play for 45 instead of 60.
Right.
So let's sign who? Record has shown they are not going to sign anybody. So why should
Right.
Dak take it? Why should Dak take a discount? If I'm looking at this like you signed no one in 2023, you signed no one in 2022, you signed no one in 2021, you signed no one in 2020. Like, why the hell would I give you guys money for? Why
Right.
should I take a
Absolutely.
cut?
And if I'm seeing people like Kirk Cousins make all this type of money, why am I sitting
Exactly.
there? Why am I
Or
going to sit there
Trevor
thinking I'll
Lawrence? I mean,
take a
come on.
sweetheart
Yeah.
deal, and Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins is making all this? I mean, what? That doesn't even
Uh-huh.
make sense.
If
I
he makes
know.
it to free agency next year,
Justin
$60
Herbert.
million will look like a bargain.
That's the floor, yeah.
But
Can
he's
you
Mm-hmm.
probably going to be
imagine?
closer. He's probably going to be closer to 75 a year at
Yeah,
that point.
because can you imagine like a team that's got like, I'm going to use the Raiders for an example. Like I was talking to Troy's oldest son the other night on
Yeah.
TikTok, and I was like, I could totally see somebody like the Raiders. Maybe y'all said it. Maybe somebody in here said, I could totally see the Raiders backing up the Brinks truck to pay Dak whatever he wanted, because really that's kind of all they're missing. They
Yeah.
have, I don't know who they got to replace Josh Jacobs in the running back, but
They
like
got some pieces.
they have
That doesn't
Devontae
matter.
Adams. Their defense is ridiculous. They have a new, young, up and coming, fiery coach. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's go. Like, all they need is, if you watched Receiver on Netflix, like Devontae was getting super frustrated with his quarterback situation. Like, you don't think he'd be happy as shit to have Dak Prescott in there? Like, and I can't think of another team like right off.
It's the Titans. Well, I mean, if Will Levis doesn't pan out, I mean, Tennessee,
Right.
they could pay.
Yeah,
They're
because
not
their
paying
defense
anybody.
is really good.
Yeah, they're not paying a quarterback right now. They got a guy in a rookie contract, and
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to say a while ago is like, now they're making the excuse of, well, other teams can sign all these free agents because they're not having
oh
to pay a
god,
quarterback. Philadelphia is having to pay a quarterback. They got all these
Detroit,
deals done. Detroit had to pay a quarterback twice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, same in LA, like they had to pay Matt Stafford again.
Mm-hmm.
And like all these things, but like, okay, so you want to use that as an excuse, but yet you didn't do shit when you weren't
Exactly.
having to pay a quarterback.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you want to try to get some of us with the okey doke, I'm not in. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
smarter than both of those two Joneses put together, and I'll die on that hill.
Well, Jerry says no one knows a solid cap more than he does. So I don't know,
okay.
Lisa. No one knows. No one has a better understanding than he does.
Give me 48 hours to study an actual salary cap ledger and put me in a room with those two.
I'm just, I'm just at the end of the day, I'm tired of. I'm tired of age. Of course, I'm 50. I guess I'm getting long in the tooth, but I'm really getting tired of this age delusional BS from some people who are like damn near in their like 70s and 80s and shouldn't be running anything. And I'm just, and I hate to say that it is what it is. I mean, yes, this is his toy, and I get that, but damn. It's just too much delusional old people stuff going on for my liking in this day and era.
Yeah.
But is Steven any better?
I don't think so. No.
No, you gotta.
I don't know.
No.
So you want to go to Shy? Like, who we going to next to get them younger? Shy?
They need that. I don't
If
know.
Steven gets in the position and the first thing he does is hire a GM, he's already done something good.
He ain't gonna.
100%.
Now, if he sits in both seats like his dad, then no. I'm
Exactly.
like, here we go. But if
I'm telling you
the
right
first
now,
move he
he's gonna
does
have
is
he's gonna have
decide to
one
get a
he's gonna have
GM,
one he's gonna
I'm
have
on
one
board.
cheek on each side of that chair, dude. He ain't giving up nothing. he ain't giving up nothing.
He would sell me on it. If the first thing he did after his dad passed, he goes out there and he gets a GM, I'm like, okay, he's got it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
He's going to
Yeah.
do something different.
What's up with
Exactly.
this Jimmy Johnson committee stuff? Have you guys ain't heard any more about that?
No.
No.
It's because it's not a real committee. It's Jerry and his drinking buddies just talk football. You know what I mean? Like that's all it is. That's literally what this committee is. It's like Barry Switzer's on that committee. Let's be real here. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, they're just talking about the old times.
I guess. Well, they need to figure out how to get back to the old times because this is just getting ridiculous. I moved here 18 years ago and stuff from Wisconsin with a thought that I was going to be able to celebrate a damn Super Bowl win and I could cry out in the damn street and shit some damn
What?
where in Dallas. I
Go
figured that I would be
Ravens.
out there at the Trail of Tears somewhere out the JFK, somewhere around in that area celebrating the I had all this shit visualized, man.
Go Rangers. Go Mavericks.
And
That's about
speaking of,
all.
and you know what? And you know what the Mavericks do? You know what the Mavericks do? They fall short. So you know what they do? They re-up and get Clay Thompson. And they say,
Yeah.
Right.
and they're like, you know what? We're not going to be one and done. We're going to see you guys right back in the NBA Finals again next year.
Yep, and they go get a guy that's almost 8 foot to take care of Wembanyama out in San Antonio.
Yeah.
They're at least thinking about what they need to do. They got
At least
Kyrie
make
and
it
all
look
this stuff.
like you give a damn about what's going on in the league.
Yes,
It's just
yes.
it's just sad.
And Cuban realized, like, hey, maybe some other people could kind of do this. If other hands get involved with this thing. So
If you think he sold for that reason, I'm sorry for your bad luck and your bad intel. He sold because the casino people are going to come in here and try to open a casino, and he's about to start lobbying for that, and so he can have a piece of that.
But do you think Jerry Jones would give up the Cowboys?
No.
No.
At least Cuban tried something.
Yeah, fair. Good point. Yeah, good point. I don't think it was for the betterment of the Mavericks, but yeah, he did at least do something different.
Where did the Mavericks end up this year? They got in the playoffs barely and made it to the Western Conference Finals.
Caught that lightning in the bottle, man.
Yeah, but they were in the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago too.
Yeah,
So
but I'm like, where's the Cowboys been? Like you said, we're still waiting on them to get to a conference championship game. Not even to win it. Just get there first.
No,
Get there.
that dude,
Just
man.
get
They
there. I
get there.
want
If
them
they
to win
get
it,
there,
but at
if they
least
get
get
there, they
there.
gotta win it. If I mean, to
Yeah,
me,
I want them to win it, but at least get there. They're not even getting there.
I
they're
mean,
not even sniffing it. It's not even like they're losing in overtime
Yeah.
in the second round.
No.
Like
First round exit to a team they shouldn't even have lost to.
yeah, all the Cowboys did is let me make Packer fans excited and stuff, and then they go and get the reality when they realize that other teams are going to prepare for a quarterback that's going to throw across the body 95% of the time when he becomes an interception machine this year. That's
yeah.
because it's not just like it's just like blows you up, just blows your mind away how any other coach in the NFL could see like, oh my God, this quarterback's throwing highly across the body over and over again and stuff, and nobody's defending it. There's no adjustments. There's no nothing. You can clearly see where this guy's getting ready to throw the damn ball.
It looks better than Trey Lance. Oh, did I say that? Was that my outside voice?
Yeah, that was not your inner thoughts. That was loud and vocal. But the thing too, like, and I've tried to tell people, like, here's a prime example. Like my friends in Houston, and rightfully so, they are jacked up. They are so excited. They're in the power rankings in the top 5. I'm like, listen, I've been there before. Y'all need to temper those expectations
I
because this
agree.
is year 2 for CJ. He's going to regress. Listen, and they would start wanting to fight me after that sentence. I'm like, listen, stop. I'm not saying he's not going to be great. He is going to be great. I've said that. I thought he was the better pick over Bryce when they were drafted. But he is going to take some steps backwards. It happens to every rookie quarterback when they get in their second year. It happens every time. 100% out of 100%, it happens. But they are just like, it is, and they cannot wait for November 18th. And I'm like, okay, so y'all are, that's y'all's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
As it is every time y'all come up here. But I'm going to concede now. Y'all should win that game. And you better pray to the football gods that you do, because y'all are better than the Cowboys. You're across the board, your roster, I feel like is better than the Cowboys. If you don't win on November 18th, you should block me, because if I don't care about the Cowboys and I'm going to talk trash, that's a bad day for you. But I don't know. And other teams have reasons to be excited, and it bothers me that I'm not. I just don't.
You
Well,
got C. You got Dak. CD's at home.
It's hard pressed to really be excited about anything with this football team, especially specifically on how things were handled this offseason and how it seemed like it was like it was an ongoing running joke or whatever, the all in and all that nonsense and stuff. Like I said, I mean, I don't get it. But anyways, as always, we love talking about Dallas Cowboy football here at Star Chronicles. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the program. If you do have any questions, make sure that you go ahead and ask. We'll address it here on the show. You have any final words for the people, Ron?
Nope, on to preseason week 2. See what we have, what these guys do this week at practice, and how it translates on the field, and who wants a spot on this roster. At the end of the day, go Cowboys.
That sounds good. What do you got, Kyle?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, on to the next week. Knock on wood, no one gets hurt. I mean, no one
Yeah.
significance at least. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to see if Adoga is going to miss some time, then our guy is going to be Tyler Guyton. I thought he played well, but like I said, we can't afford him to get hurt. So let's keep him developing and
Yeah.
keep moving forward.
Sounds good. And final words from you, Lisa Lee.
Don't get caught by the okey doke. Use your eyeballs. You know what you see. What you see is correct. Just take it for what it is, and let's meet up again in January. See if we're having the same discussion.
Well, that's all we have for this evening. Again, we'll be back. This is a weekly program, people, and we're starting to slowly but surely getting back into the groove again for podcasts and talking about the wonderful, outstanding Dallas Cowboys. I said that and stuff, and I kind of like a tear. Just imagine the Indian and stuff can't fight pollution, and he's sitting there looking at all the pollution, and he got a tear going down his eye. That's me talking about the
Yeah,
Cowboys right now.
yeah.
It's a tear. But anyways, we'll see you again next week. Hope you guys have a great week and go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.